After allowing 21 points in the first half, Buffalo's defense does a complete 180 and goes into attack mode. Back-to-back interceptions in the fourth quarter. One goes for a touchdown, completely shutting the door on the Bengals. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. He's Bills Hall of Famer Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. The Bills beat the Bengals 39-34. It was two completely different halves, Steve.
No question about it. The Bills offense kind of derailed itself. The fumble by going in by James Cook on the 2-yard line that gave the Bengals the ball back, saved them from giving up a touchdown to the Bills right there. Ty Johnson tripping over his own feet in the first half, going in for a touchdown run. You thought that might come back to haunt them. Then the Bills get a 2-point conversion offensively. The Bills come out, again, like we've seen this season, make some halftime adjustments, and it's a different story. They do give up 2 touchdowns in the second half.
13 points.
But they defended the 2-point conversion, and they got one of those touchdowns back on a Christian Benford pick 6. Pretty good half for the Bills defense in a game where they really needed it. The margin of error for the offense was very razor thin.
Christian Benford, who was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week last week for getting a fumble recovery and an interception for a touchdown, does another one this week. Interception for a touchdown again. We'll see if Benford gets the back-to-back honors for AFC Defensive Player of the Week. But Bills quarterback Josh Allen was unstoppable in this matchup, completing 78% of his passes for more than 250 passing yards. He put the team on his back in this one, and Allen is on the podium right now speaking to media.
Had him all the way, right?
Huh?
Had him all the way, right?
Yeah. Never doubt. That was obviously a really tough game. Really good team that we just played. Guys made plays tonight. It was cool to see our fans stay in the fourth quarter. So we all learned.
Was that a game of stick to this? Like, I mean, you guys were. It was not looking good after the fourth quarter. But to stick with it like the way you did.
Yeah, and again, it comes down to guys executing and making plays, and sometimes you gotta play bigger for other people. And you saw that tonight on those back-to-back plays with Christian Benford and Big Phil tipping one up. And again, finding ways to get in the end zone. All we had to do is score one more point than them. It didn't matter how we did it. Didn't matter how good or bad it looked. We just got to continue to find ways to win football games.
Take us through the third down play to Dawson. He can't hold on right away going for it. I mean, what was the conversations like there?
There wasn't. Honestly, there was no conversation. I came on to the sideline, thought it was a touchdown. Obviously, they set it over the jumbotron, and it was just calling the personnel for the offense. So we're just going back in. So really trust Coach McDermott for being aggressive tonight on fourth downs. I know early on in the game too, we converted on a few. So yeah, feels good to have that trust in him.
Between the blocking in front of you, what you saw from the defense, the long touchdown run, what did you see there?
Yeah, honestly, they brought zero. Had a motion. Guy jumping up in the window for my hot and just kind of tucked it and felt space and just ran. Cooksey did such a great job of running his guy off and then blocking downfield to spring me loose. So you don't get those plays too often, so they're fun.
Do you say anything to James after the fumble, or you just let it?
No, he understands, and again, I could have helped him out and not pumped the dart and just give it to him right away, and so I can take some blame in that.
On the last play, the scramble that got the last third down, were you surprised that they didn't have like maybe 2 guys spying it? I mean, it was crazy how.
Well, it's 3rd and 15. You don't expect the quarterback to run on there. I was expecting 0, so I changed the protection, changed the route from our back, and it just kind of opened up and just took off and just tried to get a first.
This was a game that tight ends got really involved. Everybody from the tight end room was involved. Just when you're able to use those guys, everybody, Dawson had one of his best games. Kincaid was back. Just when you're able to involve everybody, how does that help everybody? It's
awesome, and especially with those tight ends, they do such an amazing job in the run game. They don't get a lot of love and a lot of praise, but they got their opportunities tonight and they made the most of them, and we're going to need that going forward.
Was it nice to have Kincaid back?
Absolutely, yeah. He's a difference maker out there for us. We know that, and I think the defense knows that too. But he's an absolute stud.
Is there any reason you guys seem to have much more, not just offense, but as a team as a whole, your point differential in the second half is the best in the NFL? Is there any reason why at least it feels like you guys are a more confident group in the second half of games as opposed to the first half of games?
Yeah, I mean, I think early on in this game, I think we had 3 drives in the first half, a field goal, a touchdown, and we really kind of hurt ourselves on that 3rd drive. So we knew that we were moving the ball well, and we were hurting ourselves. And if we can just stop hurting ourselves, we can find success. And you pair that up with a couple of turnovers from our defense. That's a good recipe right there.
You thinking about the adjustments you guys make at halftime?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, guys just understanding what the team we're playing are trying to do to us. Having the trust in the coaches to make adjustments and then go out there and execute.
First half is it for you, you're on the sidelines and the defense can't get on the field. And like you said, you only got 3 possessions because of that. Is that a little frustrating going off the field at halftime, knowing that you're hardly having whatever?
Well, I mean, it was frustrating that we hurt ourselves on that drive and knowing that we could have put ourselves in a better position on the offensive side of the ball. We stress with this team all the time is we don't blink, we don't panic. Doesn't matter if our defense is playing outstanding, we're not playing great, and vice versa for our offense. We have supreme trust in each other that we're going to figure it out, we're going to play for each other, and that's all we try to do is just not ride the wave, stay as calm as possible, and find a way to figure it out.
Can you, I know it's like a very small amount of time, but can you walk us through what it is like when Christian Benford intercepts that ball basically at the line and then returns it? Like, what are you doing on the sideline, and what is your team doing? Are you immediately into football mode, or is it at those moments you kind of quickly?
It's fan mode for sure, and it's a lot of swear words. Hopefully they weren't showing me on the sideline because I said a lot of bad ones. No, I mean, it's fun to see your brother who works extremely hard, a guy that's as humble as they come, a guy just does his job and he can make plays for your team in big moments of the game. It's so awesome. He deserves every bit of it. But yeah, I mean, that was a good turning point of the game. But at the same time, it was like this game's not over. Who they have on that side of that side of the field, and Joe. I mean, the game is never over, and obviously you saw that to the last drive there. Thanks.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen is Mr. December. He's 19-4 in December since 2020. Averages about 3 touchdowns a game, went 4 touchdowns against the Bengals. He put the team on his back in this game, was foaming at the mouth for a win and wouldn't let anything get in his way. He had a 40-yard rushing touchdown in this game. First time he's ever done that in his career. When the temperatures get cold, Josh Allen starts to heat up and plays his best football, Steve.
Yeah, every so often you get one of these games. This game was drunk from the outset. I mean, nobody could play defense. I mean, they were going back and forth, and the only time anything happens when the offense made a mistake or did something superlative, which was every play. They were all over the joint. But every so often, this Bills team, one of the guys will do something. Besides, Josh snapping off a 40-yard run was the first one, which is the longest run of his career, a career we've been watching that got him the MVP, and he snapped off one of those runs. He snapped off a 52-yarder, I believe, in the playoff game against Pittsburgh. So this is the longest regular season run. And then Christian Benford, it blew my mind when he picked this pass off from Joe Burrow. The pass was 5 feet long, is all it was. And he grabs it out of the air and goes the other way to give the team the first lead of the game in a time when their defense hadn't been able to get a stop. The Bengals were 9 of 11 at one point on 3rd down. They finished the game 10 of 12. They could not get that team off the field, and Benford does that to give his team the lead late in the game. It was this game was off its rocker. It could not have been more entertaining, and it had Bills fans, puking in their seats. They were so nervous thinking they were going to lose this game. What a fun game when you come out on top like they did, but wow, it was all over the map. You're right. There was a couple of times in this game Josh Allen flexed, and you could tell that's a guy that's a different cat. And the 40-yard run yard touchdown, and the touchdown throw to Khalil Shakir that he threw through a keyhole, another one. Just one thing after the 19-yard, the 3rd and 15 where he takes off and runs and puts the game away.
Yeah.
Those 3 plays, and I said during the week, Maddy, when we were on the regular radio show, the Bills' defense was really going to be up against it. You knew it was going to be a tough task. No Joey Bosa, no Michael Hoyt, no Ed Oliver. The pass rush was not going to have very much starch in it. They've got all their guys back. T. Higgins back in the lineup along with Jamar Chase and Gesicki, their tight end. A huge array of talent that they were going to put out. You knew the defense was going to be up against it. And I thought during the week, and I told this to Brownie, and that it was just the defense was going to have to try and kind of hold its own and just make a handful, not less than a handful of spectacular plays. Just get a stop on a 3rd and long, tip a pass. And certainly they did on back-to-back plays, a pick 6 and then another pick interception the next play. That's what it takes to beat a team like that. Outrageous stuff like that. Your defense, they look bad, but they didn't. They were good enough to win.
They were good enough to win. Something happened in the second half, and the defense came alive. Christian Benford, you just need to send him on a corner blitz because good things happened in this game when Benford was blitzing. He had a sack on a corner blitz and then a pick 6 on another blitz. When Benford rushes the quarterback, he says, "Hey, coach, I'm going to go make a play for you." And he did that against the Bengals. Speaking of the defense, linebacker Shaq Thompson, who was a tough physical defender out there today, is now on the podium answering questions.
The end result is great for you guys. The first half had to be Maddy. All the 3rd down conversions you guys were giving up. Was it tough to swallow in the first half?
Yeah, right. I mean, we had them in, and they weren't just short 3rd downs; they were long 3rd downs. So we were doing our thing in 1st and 2nd down. We just got to get off the field. You know, they converted every 3rd down on that first half. So we just got to do better, tighten up. You know, I'm not gonna make excuses about the weather or the field conditions or nothing like that. We just got to compete, go out there, and I know the guys will step up and do better.
Just in your time getting to know Christian Benford, what kind of work does he put in behind the scenes to make plays like this happen on Sunday?
Man, he's like a silent assassin. You know what I mean? Like, he don't say much, but you know when it's time to go, he's gonna be the one to make the play, or he's gonna go out there and do what he has to do. You know what I mean? I don't really have to say much to him. He's just one of those guys you can just count on, right? And I think the last 2 weeks he made 2-3 great big plays for us, you know, on defense and changed the momentum. So shout out to CB.
What was your vantage point on the play? Just kind of talk us through what you were seeing as it happened.
On that,
on the pick 6.
Man, I just seen Joe Burrow's about to run it. Then I guess he seen blitz and try to throw it hot to Chase. And by that time, it was just too late. He threw it. CB jumped, picked it, and went 6.
Pretty amazing how that game flipped. I mean, you guys scored 3 touchdowns in 4.5 minutes. That's a pretty stark, after the way it had gone for 3.5 quarters, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's 2 halves of football, right? 60 minutes. You got to just keep playing until the clock hits 0. And, you know, once they scored, Josh said we needed one, you know. And, you know, when 17 says you need one, we got to lock in and buckle up. And, you know, guys stepped up. It doesn't matter who makes the play. It's just as long as the play gets made. And I think defense did a great job. You know what I mean? But it's just those 3rd downs that we'll definitely get corrected.
Defensive unit as a whole uses a lot of guys going in and out of the lineup, in particular up front today. When you look at the whole, Joey was out, you have guys kind of moving all over. What can you say about the unit as a whole and the guys filling in?
It doesn't matter who's up there. Guys, you know, they all prepare the same. They all get mental reps. They all get reps out there, right? And nobody flinches when it's time to go out there. Everybody knows and does their job. Everybody plays their role, you know, and it's all I can do is appreciate what those guys do up there, right? And I know sometimes they don't want to rotate, but, you know, it's just part of the game. It's part of the game plan, and they do a hell of a job, you know, not complaining. They just go out there and everybody busts their butt 100%.
Was there a difference in the second half? You guys make an adjustment on his throwing lanes? Because it looked like you were able to start checking.
Just getting hands up, right? That's the biggest thing with all quarterbacks, right? He's a quarterback that gets the ball out quick, so you're not going to be able to get pressure on him. So you got to get hands up, and I think they did a great job doing that. But we just got to go out there and play our brand of defense, and we're not going to stop until the clock's at 0.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Linebacker Shaq Thompson saying we'll definitely get our 3rd down defense fixed. He's a leader, so you know his defense is going to listen to him. The Bills allowed 7 straight conversions when it came to 3rd downs to start the game. They allowed 10 of 12 for 83%. The defense usually allows a 38% conversion rate. That was a huge difference in this game. There were open zones to start the game, and the defense just really struggled getting the Bengals off the field. A big reason why they scored 34 points in this game.
Absolutely. They really shortened the first half. The Bills had 3 possessions to start the game, and then it was halftime. They scored on 2 of them. And it was just one of those times where you just couldn't get your best unit on the field because the Bengals wouldn't leave it. They third down after third down, and Shaq Thompson was right. There were some moments. First and second down, the Bills' defense was excellent.
They got him in the third down.
They got him to third down, and they just couldn't get him off the field. It's got to be immensely frustrating. And it was, he's right, it wasn't 3rd and 1. It was 3rd and 15, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12. All of those third downs converted by the Bengals after the Bills doing a really good job on first and second down. Certainly, the Bengals, you could tell by the way the game unfolded, they had a plan to go after Cam Lewis, and they tried, you saw the shifts and motions. They did a good job of getting Mike Gesicki matched up on Cam Lewis. Mike Gesicki's a 6'6", 6'6" guy, tight end. Cam Lewis is a 5'9" corner. And with their shifts, motions, and all their abilities to manipulate, Joe Burrow solved that puzzle and got Gesicki on him a couple of times in man, and they took advantage of it a number of times. I'm not saying Cam Lewis all game, but he got picked on today. And that's what a good offense can do. And this Bengals offense illustrated also, if your defense can't get a stop or can't make a play against them, the margin of error for the Bills offense gets shrunken down to almost nothing. They almost couldn't possibly make a mistake today. Even given the huge mistakes that they made in the fumble going in for James Cook, going in on the 2-yard line, fumble it away. Think about that. That's a touchdown the Bills don't get. Yep. The ensuing drive, the Bengals do get. That's a 14-point swing. That's huge, and the Bills still overcame it.
Another thing in this matchup for Buffalo's defense that was notable, Buffalo went into this game the best passing defense in the NFL, and the Bengals took advantage of their defense and found ways to move the football through the air, even when it was snowy and a little bit windy. That did not stop Joe Burrow from finding T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Mike Gesicki through the air. Right, and that sometimes you get into a game like this, and I've played in that stadium when it was like this, and sometimes the offense really does have an advantage because they can change direction more preparedly than a defense has to react and just plant hard and go, and the defense can't hold its feet and its balance. That plays into the offensive game plan. Plus, your defense can't bear up even to stop a push by the offensive line because they can't plant their feet, they slide, and the offense can kind of do that with their momentum. So all of that stuff kind of boils up to have one of these shootout games where it's 34-39, and the team with the ball last wins. This Bengals offense is for real, though. It's an excellent offense. They came to play today, and I'll say this. Their season's over. They got 9 losses. Yep, 4-9.
If they keep playing hard, they're going to wreck somebody's season, even though theirs is. If they keep playing hard, now they may check it out. They may check out, and they may have some guys just say, I'm not going to do it. I want to look for next year. I don't know what's going to look. The rest of their season is going to look like. But if the Bengals finish sprinting to the end, they're going to ruin some people's seasons because they're a load offensively.
The Bills did something they haven't done in a few seasons, heading into this game when they allowed at least 21 points in the first half. They had 25 straight losses. Today, they fixed that, allow 21 points in the first half, but find a way to get the victory. Cornerback Christian Benford on the podium right now. Let's hear what Mr. Pick 6 had to say.
Talk us through that pick 6. Just what did you see on that play and how did it unfold?
It was a blitz. So they called my number. He said, they gave me the signal for me to go. I was trying to disguise. I didn't know what was about to happen because, I just surrendered God and just let God do what he wants to do. I was trying to do my technique. I actually didn't do my technique right, if we're being honest. I was peeping, and then he said go. He hiked it, and I went for a blitz. I low-key was expecting run, so I was expecting the tackle, but I saw him crank back, look for the now throw, and I wasn't supposed to jump. The technique is don't leave your feet. But I don't know. God just gave me something for me to leave my feet. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but. And then the rest was history. And then, the rest was history.
How was the run back to the end zone?
It was pretty awesome. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really did that since like college. So it was awesome. I was blessed that the gift from God gave me the ability to do that. While I was running though, I thought Chase was about to get me. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought Chase was about to get me. I looked back and I saw him like really huffing it. So I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Let me put some wheels. Cause at first I wasn't really running. I thought it was just me and maybe like some linemen. So I was running, but like probably like 70. But then I was like, I looked while I was running. I did one of these and I saw Chase like really running. I said, oh shit. So I really put my high heel wheels on, and thank the God he gonna catch me. Shoot. The rest is history.
What did that do for the team just in that moment? That changed the game. Did you feel that on the sideline when you were getting back to celebrate with guys?
Yeah, it was a lot of love. On the sideline, a lot of juice and energy. And I was glad through the grace of the Lord that I could have been that one. I wasn't really expecting that. I was just praying, like, Lord, I surrender to you. I depend on you for everything I do. And I'm going to just try my best to do my technique and fundamentals. And I wasn't trying to expect to make no play, make no game-changing play. Like, I was just trying to do my job, you know what I'm saying? Just fine-tune my technique. Because if I do my technique, my fundamentals, then my job is done. And so on the sideline, I was gassed, actually. Not even going to lie. But, yeah, I could feel the energy. I could feel the juice and energy, the love. And again, I was excited because there was so much love, you know what I'm saying? As a man of God, that's what God wants from all of us. He's a relational God, and to spread love and spread positivity. So I was glad to feel that energy, you know what I'm saying? And then for them to feel it. And that was more importantly, not just me, but for them to feel it and to feel good, because there was it wasn't no like heads down, but you know, we wasn't up at the time. And so I was glad and I was grateful. I was the one to help bring some juice and energy, I guess.
How fun is it for you? It's not obviously the first time, but to see Josh do the Josh things.
It's actually really lit, you know what I'm saying? It's actually really cool to experience that, you know what I'm saying? Again, blessed to have him on our team, blessed to play with him, you know what I'm saying? But it's really cool. It's really cool. Like, the plays that he make is really like some Madden stuff that you would do in Madden, playing against like your little brother or something. You know what I'm saying? He creates those plays in real life, and it's really awesome. And it's unique.
You had the lone sack for the Bills defense too. Talk us through that play, just kind of how that unfolded.
Man, my eyes got big because like it was just like, again, there was another blitz. Again, just surrendering to God, depending on God, not really expecting nothing. Playing more so I saw and not I thought, and did my technique, trying to do my technique fundamentals. My number got called, and as I was running, I felt me personally, it might not look like it, but me personally, I felt like I was a half a second late on my timing. And as I was running, I'm like, yo, nobody came to get me. Nobody came to get me. I'm like, yo, I think I got him. And then I'm like, all right, let me make sure I don't go too far afield or like too low where he could spin out. And as I was running, I was like, I tried to swing just in case like he cranked it. So, you know, they always say if you get sacked, like it should be a sack fumble. So I tried it. You know what I'm saying? I tried it. And again, all glory to God because nobody picked me up. And then he didn't throw it. And shout out to the guys on the back end who cover him while I was blitzing because he was holding that ball for a minute. So, yeah, my eyes was big, and he was just holding it, and the rest was history.
Christian, what does a win like today say about this Bills team?
It honestly shows what goes on behind closed doors. Like we stay together. We stay true to what we need to do as a unit. We stay true to what we need to do for ourselves, for our jobs, for our position, like our technique and our fundamentals. And no matter what, it's like no matter where we are, up, down, tie, whatever, we stay together as a brotherhood. We always say on the sound. Well, I say on the sound like, "Yo, love you, bro. Like I believe in you." You know what I'm saying? They say, "Love you, bro." They always say to me like, "Yo, I believe in you. Let's go." You know, everybody picking each other up. Like we could be winning by like a mil, and it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everybody stays true, and it's really so genuinely love, and it's like a true family out here when we play. Like, we not just playing out there with somebody we just met. Like, nah, like, we playing with somebody that we done experienced a lot with, and it shows, you know what I'm saying? So.
What did you make of the matchup with Jamal in general?
What I make of it?
Just how did you feel it went for you?
It was cool. Like, he was a chill guy. He did start talking, but like not to me, but to like somebody else. But to me, he was chill. He really wasn't saying too much. It was fun. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was blessed to have the opportunity to go against him. Different caliber receiver, different type of receiver. You know, every week is a different type of receiver, different style of play. And the play against him was really cool. Especially with the quarterback and receiver dynamic, they're really well connected. So it's pretty cool.
Immediately after your interception, AJ got his hands on the next one. Just how did you guys celebrate that one? You know, immediately following yours.
Run to the side, run to the end zone and celebrate with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's selfish. Like, nobody's thinking like, dang, I should have made it. Nobody's thinking like nothing. Like, everybody's just like, yo, let's go. Like, he just did that. We're happy for him. We're proud of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, AJ got hands, so, like, that's not his first one. Like, he got some hands to him, so we was really excited for him and really proud and really happy. And, again, momentum. You know what I'm saying? Momentum for the game. And it just love and energy. Because it's like, it's juice and energy because we happy for our brothers to make a play. You know what I'm saying? We happy the game is going more so in the Bills' direction. You know what I'm saying? But more importantly, we're happy that our brother made a play. So that's what make it more like the momentum go from like crazy skyrocketing. You know what I'm saying? So it was lit.
Jordan Poyer said your interception, it felt like you were floating and it happened in slow motion. Did it feel like it was in slow motion for you?
No. I felt like I blinked and I was running. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel slow-mo for me. It really felt like I did this, and the next thing you know, I was running. So, to them, to me.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christian Benford is a magnet to the football. Back-to-back weeks with a pick six. His teammates call him a technician. Why? Because he is a student of the game, takes very detailed notes. And Trey White says after he takes those notes, he takes a picture of those notes so he has them on his phone and can constantly be looking at it. You see that in the game with the way he plays. So detailed about everything he does. What's Benford's best attribute in your eyes?
I think it's his thirst to be better and be as good as he can be. I think that's the thing that has set him apart. His ability. You saw him talk about technique, and that's one of the things that makes great players great, but also makes good players better or great. And that's why I think in his first couple of years, you saw him. He went from being the 6th round draft pick to starting on opening day over a number 1 draft pick, and that thirst to be as good as he can be has really helped him develop further and further. And the more you know, and the more you learn, and the more you get, just deeper and deeper into being a corner in the NFL, of what it all means. Get used to seeing all different kinds of offensive sets, getting used to seeing and recognizing faster and faster what the offense is doing in a split second. The rep after rep after rep of continuing to try to get better. All of a sudden, he's doing the stuff we're seeing out there in the last couple of weeks. He was surprising in his first year because he ended up being an opening day starter as a 6th round rookie. But his consistency and his ability to be bigger and better, and then also now he's getting to the point where you can't keep him off the score sheet. I mean, that's how good he's getting. Not only are they not throwing at him very much,
right?
He's getting back in the middle of the game even when they're not paying any attention to him. So you can't say enough about his desire to be as good as he can be and working hard to get there.
Other players who shined against the Bengals, the tight ends had a day. They combined for 11 receptions, more than 135 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion. The tight ends took advantage of the mismatches on the field. Going into this game, the Bengals, the worst defense at defending tight ends, allowing 93 receiving yards per game, and they've given up 13 touchdowns. Where were the mismatches within the defense?
Well, obviously, one of the things that gave them problems was right out of the gate. The first and 10, the Bills had hard play action, and their linebackers, given the fact the Bills hung up 249 yards on the Steelers in their own building, the Bills are going to come out and run this thing. It's a snow game. Hard play action. The linebackers dove in at the line of scrimmage, and they just didn't do anything with the passing game. Dawson Knox comes out the back end, easy throw and catch, and it turns into an enormous gain right out of the gate. 1st and 10. After the Bills defense had given up a touchdown, the Bills are on the move right away. Great drive starter. Dawson Knox was huge in this game. This was his best game of the year, no question about it. Even with the missed touchdown pass that got taken off the board, his ability to get down the field and run after the catch. And also, they used Dalton Kincaid, and he came up big on a couple of receptions, but they didn't lean on him like they might have had to. Knox carried his share of the load, and the two of them together were an absolute force in this game. And so kudos to the coaching staff for seeing that and seeing what we did, and also the players executing, because the Bengals know they stink at it. They're always trying to get better, and the Bills wouldn't let it happen today.
Bengals the worst defense in total yards per game and in what they allow in points per game, and the Bills took advantage of that. Sean McDermott, who is 19-3 in December since 2020, is on the podium answering questions right now.
Okay, first of all, glory to God. What a great afternoon in Western New York. Amen. Amen. Fans were unbelievable, just awesome, staying with us through 4 quarters. The toughness of the football team was on display, full display, taking it down to the wire. It's a heck of a team, well-coached team. We have a lot of respect for them, obviously, an elite quarterback, and we knew it was going to be tough. I thought the coaching staff did a phenomenal job of adjusting throughout the game, and then coming up with some big plays, obviously, at the end of the game with CB, with Jordan Phillips with the tip pass, AJ interception, and then Josh's play overall, certainly the last play of the game, or close to the last play of the game, third and whatever it was, so 15. Just phenomenal play on his part. So super proud of him. Certainly still a lot to learn and things that we've got to do better. So we'll get back to work on it this week. Time's yours.
Can you take us into what that Christian Benford play meant, not only for the game and the ultimate result, but for your sideline of your defense?
Yeah, energy. You're right. It was a pivotal swing in the game, no doubt about it. They're a tough offense to stop. We were doing good on, I thought, first and second down, third downs. They were converting, simply put. So it was a hard afternoon for us, in particular on third down, but we needed to make a play, and I thought Bobby called a great call, and CB was doing what he was asked to do and made a huge play. And then to be able to score on it was huge as well. So just big-time moment in the game, and that's this time of year, right? You're looking for moments, guys doing their job, and when you do your job, good things happen, and that's what we saw happen. So it was a phenomenal play, phenomenal call, and again, just great to see.
John, there was no aggressiveness down there. It was a 4-point game, I think, and we went to the touchdown on the 4th down.
Yeah.
Take us through your thinking. I mean, field goal would have been a 7-point game, but take us through your thinking on that.
Yeah, aggressive, toughness.
But knowing who the opponent was.
Yeah, I mean, that's also a part of it as well. Those are the things that you work on during the week. The staff does a really good job of, Dennis Locke, Mark Lubick in particular do a really good job of sharing some of the information leading into the game and things, in terms of how we want to play, and if we get into a situation like that, what we want to do. And those guys were on it from the top, so give credit where credit's due. So, and then the offense executed. So great to see Jackson Hall has come through right there, a rookie in those moments when the lights were rather bright, I'd say.
You said CB on a blitz earlier in the game, and he got there for a second, and this one it looked like it was another blitz that he got home. Just why was that specific play called a blitz from the corner?
Yeah, Bobby did a great job again in the first half. Blitz in the corner. We were not getting what we needed to get done from a rushing coverage standpoint. That's where some of their conversions were happening. Burrow was getting the ball out of his hands, so we felt like we had to change something up and try to play him a little bit tighter. Sometimes that worked, sometimes it didn't. So then, that's the next spin of the dial was to pressure. There's only so many things you can do. So a couple of those worked, in particular the play before half, and then obviously CB's interception for a touchdown there.
Hey, Sean, we have the numbers. I'm sure you've got many more numbers about their struggles against tight ends this year. Clearly, it looked like it was a place you wanted to exploit. Could you maybe take us into that?
Yeah,
'Cause
sure.
You did.
No, yeah, it's again, our guys do a great job. We walk in on Mondays and they've crunched the data, and that was one of the areas that we felt we could expose some of what they do, and having Dalton back helped. Dalton had a big game. Dawson Knox, and then Jackson, as we just talked about. So Coach Boris is doing a great job getting all three of those guys ready, and it's good to have Dalton back. And I think from the sounds of it, he made it through healthy.
What did you see from Josh in the second half, just from the leadership standpoint after, even after what James fumbled and just the execution?
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, we made some mistakes last week, and one of the things that I came out of the game thinking was that nobody got down on one another. There was some resetting moments where guys last week early in the game had to, okay, let's get back on it, and that's what their teammates need from them, is to get their minds back as quickly as possible and get back on and playing winning football. So no different in this situation with James on the goal line there, and nobody panicked. Everyone just tried to stay doing their jobs, and then we make the big plays down the stretch here, and then Josh makes some huge plays as well. I thought that counterattack after they scored was huge. I mean, it was a quick score and some big chunks, and obviously Josh's run. So that was an important drive for us.
You felt the composure in the fourth quarter, like on both sides of the ball. Obviously, they had that quick touchdown drive, but outside of that, was that part of your message going into this game, that this is an offense that could score quite a bit, the defense has played better, and it might be you got to almost be perfect late in this kind of situation?
Well, again, the guys did a really good job, to your point of talking, when you mentioned the word composure, poise. When you go against an elite quarterback like Joe Burrow, you're going to have to stay in it for as long as it takes. And you saw, we get up more than one score, and they march right back and have a couple chunks. So put our offense back out there, and we had to convert like we did, or like Josh did in that situation. So what that's, that's going to be part of the challenge as you go into the week, and you just got to be at your best when it matters most. And taking the ball away was huge, not only from an energy standpoint, as you said, but also the score element, and then just again the toughness of our football team. When you go through adversity in life and in football, in this case, you come out on the other side having learned some things about yourself and tougher because of it. It's not easy. Nobody wants to go through adversity, but that internal kind of fortitude stuff is real, and we talked about that a little bit last night. So listen, we're not where we want to be, but winning games this time of year is huge, and the way we're doing it is really good. There's really good fabric around that.
Coach, this is, I know you haven't thought about it yet, but your win today guarantees you another winning record, 8 out of 9 years here. When you get time, have you reflected on that at all?
Not really. I'm just really, like I've always said, it's been a blessing to come here years ago with my family, my young family at the time, and to watch them have grown up here and the friends that they've made. It's a unbelievable community in the way that they treat each other and cheer for their teams. So we're extremely grateful, and the staff has done a phenomenal job. And then you watch today and how it unfolded. It couldn't have been drawn up any better, right? Snow on the ground. This is what we love right here. This is Buffalo football, and we're very thankful.
Sean, you held them to 60 yards rushing. How important was that aspect of the game, considering your defense has struggled at times to stop the run?
Yeah, we knew that they were going to come out and test us at least in a two-dimensional way, that being the run and the pass. And Zach does a really good job of trying to keep you off balance, and at times they did. But, they're hard enough to stop in the passing game alone, as we saw. So managing the run game was an important aspect of us coming out early in the game, and our guys did a really good job. And some of those were not 8-man boxes. Some of those were, lighter boxes, 7-man boxes, 6-man boxes to try and help them in the passing game with their wideouts and tight ends. And that's the challenge that they present. And then Joe is as accurate as anything, and it's week to week. He is who he is for a reason. I mean, some of those balls and those catches they were making were spot. I mean, there was like this in terms of the margin for error, and he put it on the money. So a lot of respect for him and his game.
You mentioned wanting to be aggressive on the fourth down call late in the game, but did part of that decision also reflect being successful on 2 other fourth downs earlier in the game?
In that case, no. I would say in that case it really had zero. Implications in terms of what I was going to do, what we were going to do, and it was just more of, obviously trying to do the right thing for our team, and felt like that at that moment was important for us to be aggressive. Not all that different from, I think it was last year. It was a 4th and 2 maybe against Kansas City. It was not 4th and goal, and we were not up. We wouldn't have gone up 7 in that situation, but. Maybe that's my wrestling nature, is to be aggressive. So.
Sean, Jordan Phillips doesn't play a ton like he used to, but he always seems like he has a knack for those big moments. So what is it about Jordan?
You're talking about this guy who does this to the crowd. It's part of his job. When we signed him, is to make sure he's doing this to the crowd. Ideally after a great play, but sometimes it's even before a huddle, which is also part of who he is, right? So hopefully they should get some T-shirts of him just doing this, right? He's awesome to have around. He is a true joy, and what more can you say? I mean, he's a great teammate. Every time I see him, I smile. He's been on a journey, right? When he first got here, how he got here. He leaves, goes to Arizona, comes back. His family's here with him. I think that says a lot about him and his family, and the impact he's had on our football team.
I think the technique of getting people pumped
up. It's the technique. Like I said, it's kind of like a little bit of a touchdown Jesus type of motion, more than anything. So he may copyright that. So.
Hey Sean, there's not many games left in this building, and this one tonight with the snow and the way the game played out, it's going to be potentially one of the all-time memories. To be able to be a part of that, to offer that for these fans as this building, headed toward its end, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I saw a sign before the game. I was out trying to look at the kickers in the pre-warm-up because of the snow and everything, and there was a sign on the scoreboard that was reading, get your seat that's full of these memories. And it made me think about it. You think about all the different people who have sat in those seats over the years. Some seats, I'm sure, have stayed in the family through multiple generations, and how special that is, and moments they've enjoyed together. And then all the different people who enjoyed watching Jim and all those teams early with those guys, and now watching Josh and our teams. So it's just special to be a part of it. It really is. And certainly, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to the new stadium. I understand that, but let's not rush to get over there. I think it's special to be here and enjoy these last few moments that we all have together in here. All right, thank you guys.
Bills head coach Sean McDermott now has 95 wins as Buffalo's head coach, becoming the third coach, or third most in NFL history, in coach's first 9 seasons. A good place to be in the record books. And McDermott talked about his aggressive nature, and maybe that comes from his wrestling background. Buffalo was aggressive early in this one. They were 3 of 4 on 4th down, and they knew going against a Joe Burrow-led team who the Bills have yet to beat with Josh Allen and Sean McDermott at the helm, they had to be aggressive, and they did that, and they were successful in doing so.
And they got more aggressive in the second half, no question about it, and they felt like they had to because of the lack of pressure they could get. Certainly the injuries, you knew that their defense was not going to be powered up enough to get pressure on Joe Burrow without getting some help. So they picked their spots as best they could, and they did a nice job of it. Christian Benford sack in the first half was huge. And then, of course, Benford coming off the edge for the pick six. And the very next play, Jordan Phillips getting his hand up and tipping that ball to A.J. Epinesa. When you're playing an elite offense, and this Bengals offense is elite, when you're playing a team like that, it's rare to shut them down. You're never going to do it. They got to help you. And the best you can hope for is exactly what happened to the Bills tonight. Just make a handful of good plays. Just get the best of them on a surprise play, a pick six like Benford did, which was, I stood up out of my seat. I couldn't believe he made that catch. And then the next play, just don't let up. Jordan Phillips tips the pass, and it's 2 plays in a row where you get back-to-back turnovers. That's what you need to win this game against an offense that you can't get off the field. Don't forget, the Bengals got the ball back the next thing, and they went bang, 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 and it was a touchdown. They put their foot on the gas, and they were in the end zone. You have to make plays like that against them to beat them. You're not going to shut them down.
This week's game is presented by Toyota, the official exclusive car and truck of the Buffalo Bills. The Bills now have 2 comeback wins when they're trailing by at least 10 points in the fourth quarter. That's just the 3rd time they've done so in franchise history. When this team is down, you never want to count them out with Josh Allen at the helm. And other players like Christian Benford, who now has back-to-back weeks with an interception and also has scored off takeaways in back-to-back weeks. Fumble recovery for a touchdown last week and a pick 6 this week. As you look at the final 4 games of the season, Steve, what type of team does Buffalo need to become?
Well, not for nothing. A little bit more like the Cincinnati Bengals. You've got to become this kind of explosive offense. The Bills offense did not score as many points as the Cincinnati offense did today. They scored 32 offensive points. Mm-hmm. The extra 7 points was Christian Benford's pick 6. So you've got to continue to find different ways to score points if you're the Bills. Certainly Josh Allen threw for 4, ran for 1. That's all awesome. Or threw for 3, ran for 1. That's awesome. But you've got to find ways to get in the end zone and control the clock and keep the other team off the field. You've got to be a little bit more like this Bengals offense going forward. The New England Patriots are a really good football team, and they don't make mistakes like the Bengals made today. And their defense is way better than the Cincinnati Bengal defense. It's much more well-rounded, and they're much more even-keeled than this Bengals team is. So you're going to have to play more and more mistake-free football. You can't fall down when you snap off a 30-yard run with your running back and settle for a field goal because he fell down. You can't fumble the ball away going in for a touchdown at the other end. The margin of error going forward, particularly this week against the New England Patriots, is minuscule. The Patriots aren't going to give you anything. You're going to have to earn everything, and the Bills have struggled to do that of late.
You're going to see some cold weather games coming up, too. The Bills are at the Patriots, then the Browns, then home against the Eagles, home against the Jets. They're going to put their foot on the gas when you look at the rushing offense. 183 rushing yards today. James Cook goes over 80 and also has his 10th game of at least 100 scrimmage yards this season.
Yeah. And he was fantastic today. He's going to stay awake at night thinking about the fumble he had going in, and also the fumble before he got into the end zone, the touchdown pass that almost was, that called a touchdown, got called back. That had 2 of those this game. And the Bengals had one the other way. They called it out of bounds, and they gave him a touchdown. I told you at the start of this game was drunk.
Yeah.
And the Bills were on the wrong end of a couple of those. And James Cook's going to think about it. But those are the kind of mistakes that are easily correctable, and yet you can't continue to make them. So the fumbles have to stop for the Buffalo Bills, and you've got to keep your Josh Allen's completion percentage. That's 78.6%. It's pretty good. If you can keep it at that and not drop the ball when you're carrying it, this team will be a lot better off going into New England.
Bills are now 9-4 on the season. Sean McDermott grabs his 95th career win. We want to thank you for tuning into Bills Postgame Live. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you all next week.